how much credit does Carson deserve for that win?
He deserves the 7th most credit for that win. The first most credit goes to Miles Sanders, who is clearly and by far the best player on the field for either team. The second most credit belongs to Jim Schwartz, whose defense was excellent. They took one of the top-scoring defenses and just stifled them. They didn't get anything done. The third most credit goes to Malcolm Jenkins, who played excellently. The fourth most credit goes to Garrett's play calling. We've also been over this. The fifth most credit, Dallas drops. They dropped 6 passes going into the game. All I heard, Wentz would be so much better if they didn't drop passes, even though they have the same record as the Cowboys. And the Cowboys going into the game had more drops than the Eagles. And then dropped 6 passes in a 1-score game. Wentz didn't do that. The Cowboys did that. The 6th most credit goes to Dak's inaccuracy, because even all that said, he's driving down the field. It looks like they're going to at least score the touchdown and then the 2-point conversion. Who knows? And then we'll see what happens. And he was inaccurate, as he'd been throughout. The 7th most credit belongs to Carson Wentz, who made, I'd say, 4 throws I saw that only he and Patrick Mahomes could make. Like, I saw him do spectacular things when he needed to. However, to begin, if you think, we all universally agree that the NFC East this year is one of the worst divisions in the history of the NFL. The NFC East is the weakest division we can remember. It's certainly a candidate for weakest division of all time. So you think because you beat Washington, but you didn't look as good against Washington as Daniel Jones did. You think because you beat the New York Giants, although you didn't look as good against the Giants as Case Keenum did. You think because you beat the sorry Cowboys, who I just outlined, had 6 drops and Dak played so poorly, he's probably going to get franchised instead of a $100 million contract? You think that means something? Carson Wentz started the game by throwing a ball at Zach Ertz's feet. And overthrowing him. The feet came later. Overthrowing him. Got Zach Ertz almost killed.
Wrong.
He almost got Zach Ertz killed.
Wrong.
Well, that's what happened. Anyway, as a result of that throw, Ertz was just a decoy the rest of the game. Let's be honest. Luckily, they have Goddard, who's excellent. Luckily, they have Miles Sanders, who's a star. It turns out he has all these weapons. All I heard is he has no weapons. No, he has really good weapons. The throw at the feet.
The screen pass?
The screen pass, throw at the feet, was later on in the game. By the way.
Fourth quarter.
Yeah, fourth quarter. After a fourth quarter fumble with 5 minutes left in a 1-score game, again, don't forget, he had the fourth quarter fumble recently. At least this time it wasn't a turnover. Then he had to throw at the feet at the screen pass when the blockers were set up for a first down. I mean, so was Carson Wentz, does he deserve credit for winning 3 games? Sure, he deserves some of the credit for that. Is he an all-world talent? No question. I never said otherwise. That's why my standards for him are high. But to crow today, like I assume someone's about to do, based on what we just saw, tells you how low the bar has fallen for Carson Wentz.
This is the weakest argument you've presented in this situation. So you talked Miles Sanders deserves a lot of credit. I guess Miles Sanders threw himself all those passes. That's interesting. And Jim Schwartz deserves credit. And Malcolm Jenkins deserves. Max, there's one quarterback in the history of the National Football League who's had 3 straight games.
More than any other.
Who's had 3 straight games of 30 completions. Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz in the last 3 games, in fourth quarter overtime, is 34 of 42 for 350 yards and 4 touchdowns.
It's the weakest division ever. With
massive injuries, Max. Yesterday's game, anybody who, analyzed football, all of us, me, Ryan Clark, we all said, there's no way the Eagles should win this football game. There's no way that they should win that game, that Carson Wentz should lead them to that game because they're decimated by injuries. You talked about that he started the game getting Zach Ertz hurt. No, he didn't. He started the game through an absolute pearl to Arcega-Whiteside, up over 2 Cowboys defenders, the only place that his guy could go catch the football. And that was the story of the game. Carson Wentz's accuracy.
You don't recall him overthrow?
No, that wasn't the start of the game, Max.
You want to get hung up on the details. Did he get Zach Ertz almost killed, yes or no?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
And then you
to
said
start the game, basically.
So the only
the
person,
second play of the game.
So Max, the only person that he had going into the game was Zach Ertz.
That's not true.
And
He had
so
Goddard and he had Miles Sanders.
And then he gets hurt. And so now he's playing with not one, not two, not three of his starting receivers. He's playing without his starting right tackle, and he's playing without the best player on their team, their tight end.
And what was this? Was a one-score
So he's
game?
playing without his top 5 guys on offense. Jordan Howard didn't play, so top 6 guys on offense. And he's playing against a team that they have no business beating. Yet he throws for 300 yards, protects the football, and took 0 sacks.
Did his coach ever win a Super Bowl?
You mean to tell
because
me
Dax didn't, and they had
you
6
mean
drops.
to tell me that a guy that goes for over 300 yards, when the game is put on his shoulders, takes 0 sacks and goes from a talent to a quarterback? You talked about leadership being the part of the reason that the drops are. So are you going to sit here and tell me that all of a sudden Carson Wentz in 2 weeks became a better leader because they're not dropping the football? Or did Dak Prescott become a worse leader because of their 6 drops?
No, I think they're demoralized by Garrett, but that's a story for another day.
So exactly. For you to sit there and go that the kid doesn't get credit when in the last month he's played better football than any quarterback in the league outside of Lamar Jackson is absolute ludicrous.
I just said against the same teams, other NFC East quarterbacks were better than him. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.